Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Matt as Pine.
Hi.
Scott as Roos.
That's me.
Sabrina as Nari.
Hey there.
Jordan as Richter.
Good evening.
And me, Paul, as the guy who was blown away by just how far we've come in just 1 year. Can you believe that it was 1 year ago that episode 55 came out? An episode that saw Nari and the boys get practically decimated by a bunch of drug-enhanced cultists in Taboree's castle and keep?
No way. That was a year ago?
That was a year ago. And 1 year before that, we had episode 7 release, which was the episode where Jordan introduced spider butt rope, trademark, to the world.
I sure did. And we've never looked back.
R.I.P. Abby, but not the spider butt rope.
But of course, today's release will finally feature that long-awaited TPK I've been foreshadowing for so long.
Oh, what?
But thank you guys for following us on your podcasting apps, rating us 5 stars, and giving us glowing reviews.
Huh?
If you want some merch, then we have a store at 12sidedguys.com/shop. And you can always get more 12-Sided Guys content by becoming a patron at patreon.com/12sidedguys. Maddie recently became a patron and has been hanging out on the Twitch stream we've been doing pretty much weekly on Monday nights. So Maddie, your little gift from us for becoming a patron is on its way. And for hanging out on the stream, here's a little poem for you, written by that weaver of words, the poet laureate of Taboree himself, Pine.
To Maddie, our newest patron. Bonus content, you get a ton. They grow up so fast. Outtakes and some maps. And didn't we meet at the con?
That was beautiful.
Hey-o.
And to be fair, we did meet Maddie at FanX, and she informed me that Sabrina pressured her into listening to the podcast, and she has never looked back.
Way to bully, Sabrina.
I did no such thing.
It was high-pressure sales.
Well, if you ever got swarmed by a bunch of yellow, black, and red chocobos while trying to cross the Thinneth River, then this podcast is for you. It's the Crystal Codex, episode 103.
My son, you have your opening. As you no doubt have heard, the Marchioness Judge Annette has twice publicly disgraced herself and has been officially detained within the city. While her first offense was unsporting and highly illegal, I do not begrudge her the second offense. Were I in her place, I cannot say I would have been able to hold back either. Richter and I issued official challenges to retain our titles as Swords of the Heavens, to which our opponents readily agreed. Richter comported himself every bit the blazing sun of the eastern sky during his duel with Cassian. He was dispassionate, calculating, simultaneously evaluating and defeating his opponent. I, on the other hand, was every bit the blossoming storm of the western sky. My fight was chaotic, emotional, and mortal. Etienne demanded a duel to the death, and I obliged. His wife, Annette, refused to sit idle and twice provided him magical succor discreetly mid-combat. This did not go unnoticed. That was her first transgression. Despite the outside aid, I bested Etienne and delivered a mortal blow. To the death were the terms he required of my request, and I do not regret accepting them, though I do wish it had ended differently. I'd intended to set a portion of my strength in reserve to revive him should I win, but the fight grew ever more dire, and victory took all I possessed. When even the Marchioness Gardener of Mosher was unable to revive Etienne, Annette committed her second transgression. She used some form of magic to encase herself in a destructive suit of armor, and raged at those in attendance. My colleagues and I beat back the magical form, and eventually her sorrow overcame her anger, and she relented. She was taken into custody, leaving only uncertainty to occupy the seat of judgment in the Abbey of Balance. Temrid, should you follow through with your plans, I feel the confusion resulting from these developments would be an immense help, but I would like to propose another path. You. Without Annette's presence, you stand a chance of being heard among the followers of Lord Astraman. Make your case in their temple. Appeal to justice for those so long treated unjustly and unmercifully. Surely, as a student of the law, you have ties to the service of the Lord of Justice. Remind them that they choose their representative. It is not chosen for them. Hell, put forth your name as a candidate, as one dedicated to the cause of justice in Kalinium and throughout Menorese. Annette's fall can catalyze change for the better, or it can kick off a time of bloodshed and revolution. You have the forces, and now you have the opportunity. I trust you to choose what happens next with wisdom and caution. I feel I've already done all that my sword could for you in this situation, but know that if you request my presence, I will stay. Otherwise, I now go with my colleagues to a conflict for the salvation not only of Menorese, but of Pavantis as a whole. We've a lead on the whereabouts of the Herald of Stone and Dirt. There's a farm that still stands productive, while all around it falls to the shaking. We have reason to believe this is where we will find them, and lords and ladies willing, end their destructive reign. I will see you again, Temrid. May it be in a more just and equitable Menorese, one with a future free from disdain between our brothers and sisters and the looming fear of near unavoidable destruction. I love you, son. Papa. P.S. The lords preserve, the ladies protect, and through balance, victory.
That was awesome.
Dankeschön.
Bitte.
Bitteschön.
It's getting weirder, and I love it.
Bitte, mein Herr.
Are you a little German boy, ja?
Es war populär.
See, I always say populier.
A rocky doll.
All right, we join Nari and the Boys 2.0 as they are heading north outside of the city of Kalinium. One day after the events in the dueling grounds. Before you guys left the city of Kalinium on your way to the Blanchard and then the Millet farm, is there anything that you guys wanted to do in the city of Kalinium before you left?
I think we'd mentioned wanting to have at least a quick conversation with the Marchioness Gardener of Moshe. I can't remember what her name was, but we wanted to see kind of what her take on like the situation with Moshe and his presence and his power is right now.
Okay, yeah, her name is Marchioness Gardener Clotilde, but you can just call her Gardener or Marchioness, so it's fine. So you wanted to have a conversation with her. Anything else you guys wanted to try to do?
I think I'm good for this city.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything in particular.
Well, I do want to get this staff changed over to an axe.
Okay. And then Richter's good?
Yeah, I think so.
Roos has just the faintest little bit of stubble over his lips right now.
Ooh.
Your characters would really have to pass a high perception check to notice, though.
He's really trying.
Sabrina notices it. I mean, Nari notices it with her high perception.
What's that on your face? Did some of the bigger kids push your face in the sand? That's straight out of an episode of Married with Children, I think, is where I originally heard that one.
Oh, gosh.
Were they making fun of your clothing, Roos? Oh, I'm sorry, bud.
Oh.
All right, Nari. We can deal with your staff, turning the staff of Tiberius potentially into an axe of Tiberius. We'll say, Nari, that you go to the Market of the Martyrs, which is a big open square outside of kind of the Skyport, as well as the Abbey of Balance. There is this large open square with lots of different vendors. That's where Gerard has been hanging out, selling his wares with Porthos. And you walk amongst the different stalls and the different tents, and you do find a man who is pounding away on an anvil. It looks like he's making weapons of some sort. And as you talk to him and you show him the staff and you mention that you really like it to be an axe, you're wondering if there's any way that he can keep its magical potential but change it into an axe. He starts, he's like thinking about it. You can see him like he takes the staff in his hands very, very gently. He places it down on the anvil. He's looking at it. He takes out like a cord. He starts measuring. Gets out a piece of paper, starts drawing like diagrams. And I mean, this whole thing is like taking, 20 minutes as you're sitting there watching him do all of his work. And then he walks over to a bucket that has a bunch of weapons in it, and he pulls out this great axe, and he takes it over to the anvil, and he sets it on there and snaps the head of the axe off,
Boom!
pulls it off, and slams it onto the end of the staff, and just starts pounding on it with a hammer, and hands it over to you and asks you for 30 gold pieces. And now your staff of Tiberius is now a great axe of Tiberius. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So now, Nari, you've got the adjudicator's axe as well as the staff of Tiberius, or the axe of Tiberius. But I believe they both require attunement. So be aware of that.
All right. Well, I'm going to start sleeping with it at night. So
It's how you do. Just be careful not to snuggle up next to it or you get a rash from the blade oil,
Oh, yeah. Don't want any splinters on my lady bits.
That was an outtake from before.
That's going to be in the outtakes.
Okay, and that's so great. Nari, you have your axe. So as you are riding along, also if anybody wants to buy a horse to make the travel easier, they are 75 gold a piece for a riding horse. We have Feathers, the Beakaboo, as well as Crumbles, but we have Richter we have Richter as well as Nari who do not currently have mounts. So 75 gold pieces will get you a riding horse.
I'd buy a big horse to get me to and fro where I need to be.
Okay. So a draft horse is $50, but it's not necessarily for riding. It's more for pulling plows. If you can get a horse that's big enough to carry you for 75, that's fine.
You get a big draft horse and you just ride on the back of a plow. You're just plowing up the road as you go.
You're moving so incredibly slow.
But we're planting rutabagas.
Pine wants to talk with Clotilde, the gardener, the Marchioness gardener, the representative of Moshe on this Council of Six. Who else would like to be there? We'll say this can take place at the dueling grounds, basically right after Marchioness Judge Annette is taken away in custody.
I'll say to Richter, "Hey Richter, we'll go get drinks at the Lounging Hound after, but I kind of wanted to pick the gardener's brain."
Yeah, I believe that. I'd like to accompany you if that's okay.
Okay, yeah. Anybody else?
I'll go save us seats at the tavern.
I'll come with you, Roos.
Okay.
All right. So Richter and Pine, you guys would know that you don't go through the dueling grounds unless a duel is happening. And Lady Clotilde is on the opposite side of the dueling grounds. Not a big deal, but you guys make your way around the outside, passing by Librarian Genevieve, who has taken a seat on one of these benches, and she is, she is the Marchioness representing Cadriel. She's taking notes about all that transpired, but you pass by her, and as you approach the gardener, Gardener Marchioness Clotilde, you see this thin, tall, red-skinned woman. She's got these big, dark black horns that kind of arch backwards over the back of her neck. She is probably in her early to mid 40s, and she is dressed relatively plainly but expensively. You see that she's talking to a couple of different attendants. Some servants of some kind are talking to her. And as you approach, you see that there are two guards that are also standing near her, giving her protection. But they both kind of bow to you, seeing that you both are the victors of the duel that literally just happened. And they allow you to approach the gardener as she finishes talking with one of her attendants, and she turns to both of you and she says, "Blossoming storm, blazing sun, congratulations on your victories."
Thank you, Lady Marchioness.
Yes. Thank you, I suppose.
And what do I owe the pleasure of two of the heavenly swords?
Well, you are kind of the ranking acolyte of Moshe in the country. And we have experience with Moshe. We were wondering what your recent experience with Moshe has been.
She kind of holds up a hand, not up by her face, but it's kind of like you see her kind of raise her hand up like by her waist and kind of hold her palm down, indicating like quiet. And she turns to her attendants and she says, "That will be all. I will see you tomorrow morning." And then she informs the guard. She says, "I will be heading back to the Abbey of Balance. You're no longer needed. The swords of the heavens will protect me." And then she turns to the two of you and she says, "Please, if you wouldn't mind leading the way back to the Abbey, we can chat along the way."
I'll provide my arm because looking at her token, she's quite the hottie.
She accepts it.
Aw, man, Nari's got some FOMO now.
I'm so glad Nari's not here. She'd just be creeping on you.
Oh, 100%.
She's like, I don't know who that is.
She was the second.
Ah, yes,
In the duel.
second, with the puff paint.
Yes, with the puff and the run-through banner. Yeah.
That nobody ran through. I thought that was interesting. So you have experience with Lord Moshe. Tell me, what do you know of Lord Moshe's recent whereabouts?
Oh, his whereabouts. So you don't know where he is? You don't feel his presence as you once did? I was worried that would be the case.
I feel his presence. And then she looks around. She says, "But I do not feel it the same as I once did. It has changed. Ever since the dead zones, those lines, what would she call them? She would call them ravines of death. I don't know what she would call them. Yes, ever since those necrotic ley lines appeared across Pavantis, he has changed. He's wild. He's always wild, but angry and hurt and weakened.
We knew the avatar of Lord Moshe. And, there was a ritual, a very important ritual, the nature of which I don't completely understand. But, I think in order to complete that, and to do a great deal of good, I fear Lord Moshe was wounded or sapped of some of his strength. Well, regardless, how do I want to put this? His avatar's no more, and in his place, there is a great beast somewhere loose. Last we saw it was in the mountains near Kalta. We don't know where he is, but I was wondering if you might have some insight into what this creature might be and how it may be appeased.
She thinks on it for a bit, and she says, "No, I know where he is. I can feel him. I can feel his hurt. I can feel his anger. That creature of which you speak, I fear that is the last of Lord Moshe's power. I fear that is Lord Moshe himself."
On Pavantis, though?
On, in, throughout. He travels quickly. Even now, he is across the sea, north. North and east.
If that's the last of his power, is he in a state like a period of recovery, or is this kind of he is now feral and this is it? Do you know? Is there hope for Moshe?
He is an injured animal, and nothing is more dangerous than an injured animal. Will he heal? I pray he will heal, but I do not know. But for Pavantis' sake, I hope. His power is fading, even the power he has gifted me. It has faded. I still have some.
What does that portend for the world as it is?
She looks at you, Richter, and she's kind of, you see like a glassy look in her eyes as a tear falls down her cheek, and she says, "I don't know."
I don't know what the title is for the acolyte of Artarian, the crypt keeper of Artarian. What's the title?
The ancient of Artarian, yes. It's Marquis Ancient Marcel.
Marquis Ancient Marcel. Was he the one who was sitting next to Annette?
Yes.
Oh.
He and Annette were quite the pair. He was an older man. He was bald, had like white facial hair, dressed very nicely in sky blue. He had like a white mustache, bald head, and they were sitting next to each other, ready to enjoy the duel.
Got a television show, right? Tales from the Crypt?
He does terrible puns about being dead and stuff. Yeah, that's the guy. Crypt Keeper, right?
Yes, that is Marcel.
Well, never mind. I think he was far too close to Annette to be trusted.
Oh, 100%. He was the first to fall in her pocket.
Yes, well, I was just wondering if there may be an accord made with Atarian herself.
Well, Marcel is not the one to talk to.
Okay. Yes, we, here in Menorese we care about balance, and Lord Moshe, Lady Atarian, they're two sides of the same coin, and I think maybe her aid could be sought for Lord Moshe.
That is an interesting idea. I shall ponder it, and definitely take it to heart.
Her acolytes probably don't know, but she definitely would know if there was something going on with the forces of life on Pavantis.
For sure. Yes, 100%. And as you guys are walking, you see that you're at the Abbey of Balance, and she looks up at this towering structure, this beautiful structure that Pine, you've been in multiple times. Richter, you've been in a couple times too. You were in there during Pine's tribunal, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks back at you. She says, well, I thank you for the information you've given me about my Lord, Moshe. But if you'll excuse me, I have a country to try to salvage.
There's this guy. His name is Temrid Pine Jr. He's really cool. If you ever get a chance to make his acquaintance, he wants what's best for the country as a whole.
Temrid Pine Jr., your son. Okay.
Not just those within the city, but those who've been pushed out as well.
Shameless.
She nods. She says, that is good to hear. If you'll excuse me. And then she walks up the staircase up to the entrance into the Abbey.
I watch her go and then realize I'm kind of creeping, and then I'm like, to the Lounging Hound!
All right, you guys go to the Lounging Hound. Roos and Nari, you guys have saved some spots. Drinks are being poured. You guys are sitting around looking at these.
I'm showing off my new axe. I'm really excited about it.
Showing off this axe. It's got this beautiful, like, dark wood handle with like gold wrappings, and it's got like filigree on it and that kind of thing. And then the axe blade is just kind of a typical great axe, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be effective. So yeah, you now have 2 great axes, which is, I think that's very fitting for Nari, actually, at this point in the campaign, to have 2 great axes strapped across your back. Why not?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you guys are sitting there in the Lounging Hound.
My next character is going to be named Hounging Lound.
You guys find some comfy seats in that cigar smoking room that Pine was talking about. No, wait, was that the Lounging Hound? That's so hard to say.
The Hounging Lound.
Which one had the cigar room? No, that was the Belly Up. Lounging Hound has a place that's similar, a place to light up some cigars, celebrate. You have people coming over, clapping you guys on the back, saying, hey, great job with that duel. You guys did amazing, and that kind of thing. People are buying you drinks. If you guys aren't careful, before you know it, you wake up with headaches. So who here wakes up with a headache?
Nari does. She celebrated her new baby. She gave birth to this thing.
Pine will celebrate with some drinks, but while we're talking, I do want to have a quick little aside with Richter.
Sure.
Richter, you comported yourself so well in that fight. You were calm, and you were you understood and what was at stake, and you were like willing to forego the title if this other person bested you. And I gotta say, I was impressed. I wish that had been my feelings as well. I don't want you to think that I don't want to die with this title.
Well,
and I want some young upstart who loves swords as much as I did at that age to be better than me, to take the title from me. But
Yes, I got the strong impression that your situation was vastly different than what I was dealing with this Cassian individual. Not that I've had a chance to really look into his character and his persona, but it seemed like he wasn't necessarily a bad fellow. You know, perhaps he took on this mantle and this title without the authority to do so, but I mean, as far as many probably were concerned, I was perhaps long since dead, and somebody should assume that title. I don't know. I did not sense any malice in the individual, and so I could not, approach that that altercation as though there were any malice to be experienced. You have children, Temrid. I don't have any children.
I do. Oh yeah, I do. Sorry.
That means you've done things at least once.
He sheathed the blade a few times.
Something Falchion.
Is Richter going to ask for the talk? He's like, how does that happen?
Yeah, Richter's just like, you have children, and I think the idea of having someone that you would pass down your knowledge or your skill has perhaps been something that you've thought about as a parent. It's something that's been on your mind. I've never really had that myself. And so, in a way, I kind of was hopeful that perhaps this Cassian individual would prove himself worthy of the title, and he may yet perhaps prove himself that. I don't want to be the blazing sun. It is a blazing sword, though, which is cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
To that, Pine takes a shot.
Not to be outdone, Richter hurriedly takes a shot, too. And he's like, I don't want to be the blazing sun forever, and I won't be. I'm getting old. And so, in a way, I'm kind of hopeful that he could become a protege.
That makes perfect sense. Well, I wanted it to be very clear, Richter, that I thought you were every bit the blazing sun of the eastern sky in that fight. You were calm, you were judicious in your movements and in your exertions, and you took the opportunity to teach as you were fighting. I caught some of it as I was trying not to die. I wanted it to be very clear that I respect you, and that I think you're the best, man. You're the best. Get this guy another drink over here. This guy.
It's funny because it wasn't quite like this when I took the title from Kinnig. It was here. We fought well, but it was also almost more for show.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like the succession was kind of new. Quick, let's do a quick shot. Let's do another shot.
As you guys are getting lit, at some point you guys are doing toasts and clinking glasses and everything, and actually Cassian is there, the man that you bested, Richter, sharing drinks and swapping stories with you guys as well. Do you remember what it said? Not at all. Nothing. You guys are so far gone. Roos and Nari. So Nari's drinking. Roos, what are you up to?
Roos has found someone that'll listen to him, and he's just like at the bottom of a drink saying, "The mustache curled so perfectly. I just don't know that I could ever do that." It's on the verge of tears.
And at that point, you realize that you literally have like alter self or disguise self as a spell, and you could totally do it.
This is true.
Also, you've been sharing that whole story with a coat rack.
It doesn't feel the same, though. It's not his.
So after a night of kind of celebrating and just relaxing here at the Lounging Hound, you guys, I guess you kind of stagger your way back to the Belly Up Inn, And Hudley is up, and she helps you to your rooms, especially you, Mr. Pine. You find yourself leaning on her every bit as much as you do your cane.
As she's helping me up to my room, I'll be like,
Hey, Hudley, I think you're a nice lady. But you should be nicer. You should be nicer to the poor people outside of town.
She pats your hands and says, there, you're drunk.
Classist bitch.
What was that, Nari? Speak up. I'm like, I'm all.
I love this axe. I'm so excited.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be an interesting night.
Hudley.
Yes, Mr. Pine.
Did you see her axe?
No, Mr. Pine, I only have eyes for you.
She's got two now, and one of them she didn't have before.
Well, Mr. Pine, I'm more interested in your sword.
Oh, yep. It's right here.
She takes you to your room, and she uses her own key that she has to unlock your door and let you in. And I don't know how drunk you are. I imagine she helps take your boots off or whatever. And then she leaves you to it. I was going to have everyone make a perception check in the morning to see if anyone noticed her leaving your room. But I'm not going to take that decision away from Pine. That is Matt's decision. So anyway.
no, she would not be staying overnight.
All right. So you guys bought horses. I'm assuming 2 horses. Or are you guys going to walk? You're going to hoof it?
No, I got a horse.
Okay.
So I don't know much about horses. Like, what do you call? It's like there's a walk and a trot and a canter and a gallop.
I played that Mary Kate and Ashley gang. Let me tell you.
I know if you give it 1 carrot, it goes fast. 2 carrots will make it go fast for a longer time, but then it'll fatigue and slow down.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, that's true.
Mr. Feathers only has a waddle. That's it. He does not have a canter.
Mr. Feathers is replaced with fish instead of carrots. Yes.
But no, my question is, which is the smoothest? Because I know trots are like bounce, 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 bounce.
It's just about speed. Like it's a walk.
It's all pretty awful.
A walk is smooth and a gallop is relatively smooth.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're either going very slow or very fast because I have the worst headache.
I would imagine just a simple walk.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right. As you guys mount up and are heading out, now we are going to jump back ahead in time where we actually started this episode as you are riding along on the road heading from Kalinium up to Brevidine, which is this city that is northeast of Kalinium. And you know that the earthquakes are getting more powerful the further along the road you get. And you've noticed this as you've been traveling. Every once in a while, you'll feel a tremor. And then it seems like the tremors are getting more and more violent. And you guys actually travel the whole first day on the road. And it gets to a point where the tremors are happening probably every hour and a half to 2 hours. Not crazy strong, but very consistent. And then it's time to set up camp for the night. So what do you guys want to do? You guys want to camp on the road? You guys want to go off to the side? Anybody a strong enough spellcast? You guys should all have like Leoman's tiny hut by now, right? Or like
if we had any spellcasters,
a portable fortress. I mean, you guys are like level 11. This is all like level 11 stuff. So you guys still pitching tents?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're all pitching tents.
Hell yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, that'd be Richter who has it, or Roos who has it. I don't have access to those spells. I don't know if either of you would have access to the spell like that.
I don't. I think. Yeah, I'm looking through my list, and I don't even have anything of that nature.
No, I don't have anything like that either.
Tents it is.
You guys set up tents. Are you guys going to be on the side of the road? You guys going to be on the road? Like the road at this point is all dirt. It's not so important. What is really important is after you set up camp and after you go to bed, we're going to need to do a couple of rolls. But what do you guys do like kind of for bedtime?
Talking to people, it sounded like, didn't some bandits or somebody take, or no, what was it? Their home. They had lost their home?
Yeah, I think they were worried about bandits coming in and looting after they left. Apparently there's bandits doing that for all the farms where the farmers have no longer been able to, keep their animals safe.
That to me would indicate that it might behoove us to get off the road at least a little bit.
I agree, and set up a watch.
It would be nice if we could find some cover, but I also don't want to have trees overhead and have, large limbs or anything fall on us in our sleep.
Fair enough. So off the road a ways, but perhaps just in the open so that way nothing can fall on top of us.
And maybe not a fire to not draw attention to us.
Okay. I bought these marshmallows for nothing.
It's the end of April, basically.
Back in ancient times, people ate cold marshmallows, and they were okay.
It's not the same. What about the chocolate, Pine? The chocolate.
I've been known to enjoy a hard piece of chocolate, too.
But my gums.
Back in ancient times, literally back in earlier today, I ate myself a cold marshmallow. Awesome. All right, so you guys go to sleep. Are you guys doing a watch or anything like that?
Yeah, let's set up. I guess we could do 4 watches. I guess just split it up into that.
So what we're gonna do? We haven't done this for a long time. We're gonna have. Tell me who's on first watch.
Roos will take first watch.
Okay, make a perception or investigation check or survival check as you are watching around.
Roos got a 30 perception.
And he saw into the face of God.
Like Roos takes a nap and just tells Squire to like walk around. And everybody thinks that Roos is paying attention, but it's really Squire.
Well, Roos, with that 30 perception, golly, you're sitting there at night. It's dark. Every once in a while, you can feel the earth start to shake. With your 30 perception, you don't know how you know, but something about the way the earth, it's not just kind of shaking violently, like back and forth or oscillating. It is actually, you feel the roll of the earth. And you feel like it is rolling from where you're at. Basically, it's rolling kind of from the southwest and heading, like, let's say it's from the west by southwest and heading east by northeast. Does that make sense? Like the roll of the earth, it's rolling underneath you, like almost like you can feel like a lump move under your butt as you are sitting there.
And is it moving the direction we're traveling?
It is moving roughly the direction you're traveling, yes. So now that's with a 30. Now, you know that, Roos, if you were not so perceptive and had like some kind of a clue or like some kind of help from Squire or something, you would know that maybe it was just a trick of your mind, but you are fairly certain you feel that roll of the earth heading roughly in the direction that you are headed.
And Roos in the night, he closely looks at Richter and watches how he vibrates and says, "That's about a 4.5 on the Richter scale."
Ooh, rim shot.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
See the way that his cheeks are jiggling?
That's how you know.
Oh
Cover
my
those
goodness.
No, never. It's an old military trick, you see? Sleep butt naked.
You sleep with your long john butt flap open.
That's right.
It keeps you from overheating.
It's an earthquake detector. You want to get those cheeks slapping. Okay. Oh.
The Richter scale.
All right. Who is next to have the watch?
Pine will go next.
Fine. Perception, investigation, or survival.
Pine rolled a nat 1 for a 5.
I think, Pine, you are the events of the day before, both the adrenaline from the fight as well as the. I mean, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been all day, but you still are feeling. You've just been kind of off all day because you drank so much. You just kind of.
Yeah, he's still hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, you're still all day, and you even tried laying on hands, and everything, giving yourself some commander's morale, and it still didn't work. But you're just kind of sitting there, and you feel yourself kind of getting distracted, holding your head as like your brain starts to pound. And after 2 hours, you're like, okay, I'm done. I've got to get somebody else up. You got to get some rest.
As soon as everybody else is asleep and like it's Pine's turn to watch, he's sitting there and he's just, he's off, whatever. And all of a sudden it occurs to him,
I think Hudley wanted to sleep with me. Whoa, that's bonkers.
There was a sock on the doorknob.
Gosh. All right, who's next on the watch?
Nari will pick up the third watch.
Okay, Nari, why don't you make a perception, investigation, or survival check?
All right. That was a nat 20 for also a 30, Roos. Come at me, bro.
Wow.
Okay, I see your 30. I see it.
If we're gonna get snuck up on by bandits, it's gonna be like Elder Scrolls bandits, where we're high enough level that they show up wearing glass armor and like have all super powerful magic weapons, but they're still just bandits.
Okay, so Nari, with your 30, so the rolling of the earth was kind of the high perception check. Nari, with your 30, we'll say as you're sitting there at the fire, just kind of keeping it going a little bit. Oh, no, you said no fire, right? As you're sitting there, holding your new axe, you hear some rustling in the branches and in the bushes, kind of on the west side of the road. There's like a hedge here along the road, and you hear some rustling. Something is going on there. And as you glance over at the side, you see the glint of steel, as well as kind of hushed whispers. And the voices, you can't make out totally what they're saying, but you hear something like, I tell you, they're right over here. If we sneak up, we can get their stuff. They won't even know we're there.
Nari will proudly unsheath her new axe and say, hey, fellas, do you need anything?
So why don't you, just for funsies, make an intimidation check with advantage, because you totally startled them.
Okay, with advantage, that was a 17.
Okay, you hear, oh, and then you hear rustling in the bushes as whoever was approaching dashes off away from you as fast as they can.
Paul, I think that's a first. We're going to have to bleep somebody besides Sabrina.
Wow.
No, I did at one point quote Bill O'Reilly and say, we'll do it live.
I know. I'm joking.
Sabrina, the rest of your, Nari, the rest of your watch goes without incident.
Took care of that.
And now Richter is the last.
I am.
Richter, you are up. Why don't you go make perception, survival, investigation, or perception, investigation, or survival?
I'll roll an investigation. And I rolled a nat 1. Wow, look at this, guys.
Yeah, dude.
We have rolled several nat 1s and a nat 20 in like the first 5 rolls of this entire night.
Two nat 1s and 2 30s.
Richter, you're sitting there, and I don't know what you're thinking about, but at some point it dawns on you, I think Hudley wanted to sleep with Pine.
That's what the sock on the doorknob meant.
And Richter, as you're sitting there, the sun starts to come up, and your night is over. Your night's worth of watch is over, and you can continue on. As you recall, what you were told by the farmers, the Blanchard family, their farm was a day and a half up the road, and then there's a stream that cuts across the road, and if you follow the stream east, more inland, you'll come to their farm, and then the farm you're looking for is the the Millet farm, which is up over a rise north of the Blanchard farm. And so total, the whole trip should take you about 2 days. You should get to the Millet farm sometime around dusk.
All right. Well, let's make our way that way.
So as you guys are traveling along the road again, you travel for about 5 or 6 hours, and then you see this stream that cuts across the road. And it seems everything seems about right. This is probably when you should go kind of off the main road. There's a path that winds kind of off in through the plains. It's a dirt path that looks not super well worn, but it's easy enough to follow. And you start to follow that off the main road and towards what you hope is the Blanchard farm.
Hey, Richter, did they say how far we were supposed to follow this stream?
I believe, didn't they? Oh gosh, I already forgot. Was it up over the hill? Is that what it was?
So the farm for the family that you met is, if you continue following the stream, it will take you right to their farm. Once you find their farm, then the farm you want, the Millet farm, is up and over a rise.
That's right.
That is north of their farm, yes.
Got it. So, okay, I will just have relayed that to Pine just to make sure.
All right, okay, well, I mean, it's pretty out here.
Right, it's pretty, right, Paul?
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's like rolling hills and like trees. Oh, I forgot there was one other check you guys needed to make while you guys were sleeping. I need everyone to make a Constitution check. It's pretty simple. Difficulty 13.
Cool.
Everybody should get +4.
I need to know if you got a good rest or not.
You're saying I got a +4, but I still poop.
Yes, you poop.
You still pooped? Oh no.
So
Richter.
Oh no. Not this.
Richter and Pine both. Oh no.
We both got 12s.
Oh no. You guys both have a level of fatigue, as you guys could not sleep well because of the shaking, the constant, rolling of the earth.
The ground felt like a waterbed.
That's not even more cozy.
Wait, but a waterbed, but your partner has restless leg syndrome.
Roos got a nat 20 on his Constitution save.
I hate you a little bit. Just wanted you to know that.
I think he is because he started sleeping early and Squire was doing the watching for him.
Roos like springs up in the morning. He's like, I feel great. Nothing like a good night out in the outdoors. And like Pine and Richter are like, oh, my back.
These old men. Nari got a 13, but if I get +4, it would be 17.
So the two swordsmen have a level of fatigue each. What does one level of fatigue do to you? Let's remind our listeners.
We have disadvantage on skill checks.
Okay. All right. But not attacks.
Nope,
But
not
not
attacks, not saving throws. Our speed is still full, but it's just now we have disadvantage on all of our ability checks. So
as you guys mount up, Pine and Richter are looking a little bit older, like just kind of worn out. Bigger bags under their eyes.
Do you need a hand getting up Crumbles?
I got this, jeez. Oh, I'm not that old.
I wasn't saying. You just look a little tired. That's all.
What, you want to put me in a home or something? I got this.
Unless if you want to be put in a home. I mean, if that's what you want, I'm happy to put you in a home.
What kind of food do they have in this home?
Can I go to said home if it has good food?
The best food. The Menorese food.
Ah, cheese and wine.
Just charcuterie boards. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Charcuterie boards. I do love those.
Oh, yes.
Ah.
Okay, we'll talk about this home later, but I can get on my own mount. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys continue traveling. As you guys travel now along this stream, on the south side of the stream, you find a place where the path actually fords across the stream until you're on then the north side of the stream, and then you continue following along. And in the distance, there's like little what's it called? Like little copse of trees, little thickets here and there, but for the most part, it's plains. And after a while, again, the earth is shaking. Earthquakes are happening. These tremors are happening quite regularly. In fact, now they're about every hour or every 45 minutes, and they are becoming more violent as you're traveling along this path along the stream. After a while, you can see in the distance what looks like some buildings, and this is the first sign of civilization you've seen since leaving Kalinium. You assume this must be the Blanchard farm. As you approach the farm, the path, this path you've been following, it kind of comes up towards the farm, right on the edge of this field. As you approach these buildings, this farm, what you assume must be the Blanchard farm, the path you've been on approaches on the southwest side of this farm, and as you approach it, it comes to this. Looks like a field. It looks like there's some like cabbages or cauliflower, something growing in the farm. Like it looks like the beginnings of some plants. You see, there's another field kind of behind it, a little bit bigger field, but it looks unkempt. You can see that there are tools and things that are just kind of lying in the field and lying in the dirt, like they were just kind of left. You see things that looks like they've been knocked over, like a horse trough. It looks like there's a wheelbarrow that's been knocked over. The gates are left open. You see no sign of animals. As you look north of these fields, you can see what looks like two buildings. One looks like some sort of a small house, and the other looks like a barn or a stable of some kind. But the roof of the stable has caved in, and you can see kind of inside the stable. But again, the roof is caved in, and it looks like the building, even the house, the small house, looks like it's taken some severe damage just from the shaking of the earth. So here you are at the Blanchard farm.
Did they say how much farther it was to the Spries and the other farm? Like, could we get there tonight, or do we have to stay here in this spooky old ghost farm?
They said it was just beyond an upper rise. My guess is it's still a bit further.
You know that it will take. You should get there about dusk. It looks like there's probably a couple of hours before the sun goes down. So, yeah, and also you can see back behind these buildings. You can see where the fields kind of rise up. There's this kind of hill that you would have to go over to get to the Millet farm. It doesn't look like it's rough going or anything like that. It looks very easy to travel, but you cannot see the other side of the hill from where you are.
I think perhaps let's quickly just check these homes to make sure that they're clear, so that way we can let them know that they're safe to return to, and then we continue on our way. Does that sound reasonable?
That'd be the neighborly thing to do.
Well, let's go. Just make sure everything's all clear. Richter's going to draw his sword and kind of just start moving forward.
As will Pine, on the back of Crumbles.
Okay, perfect.
And Nari will follow. I need to give my steed a name, though.
What color is your horse?
Should call it a horse of a different color.
I think my horse is like a beautiful chestnut brown, but I don't think I've come up with a name for it yet. I got to think about it.
That's okay, because you know what they say about a horse with no name.
After 9 days in the desert sun, you let the horse run free.
You rode through the desert?
They say something about it. I
was going to say, I don't know.
Because the sand had turned to sea. There were rocks and birds and rocks and things.
To be honest, when that song comes on, I turn it off. I don't like the song.
You see, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. Okay, you guys are kind of approaching the house, this small, it's like it's about maybe 20, 25 feet by 20 feet. It's relatively small. There's a chimney sticking out of the wall. And as Richter and Pine are approaching the door, Richter opens the door. Boom! Richter, Does a
Oh no.
13 hit you?
It does not.
A crossbow bolt goes flying past your head, and as you open the door, you can see there are two men in there. They look a little rough. Not just rough, like as in kind of a rough sort, but like they've maybe been through a bit of a tussle. You see like their clothes are matted with dirt and potentially blood. You see that they have kind of a wild look to their eyes. One of them is shot a crossbow at you and is literally trying to grab a bolt to crank the crossbow again as the other one draws a short sword and says, we don't want anything. Leave us alone. We didn't take anything. We promise. We just want to go.
Richter is going to... So the crossbow came from the one kind of dead ahead of him?
Yeah. So the one that's straight ahead is literally cranking the crossbow again, and then the one on the left over by the hearth, he's got his short sword out and he's pointing at you. You see it kind of shaking. He's like, "We don't want any trouble. We didn't take anything. We just want to get out of here."
Richter is going to rush in and do an attack against the guy that's trying to arm the crossbow again. But I wanted to use non-lethal damage.
Okay, we won't even need to roll initiative for this. I'll just let you guys each do a turn before they get to move because you guys are level 11. Go ahead, make your attack.
Okie dokie. An 11 to hit for the first attack?
I think that might actually hit. It does!
Oh, wow.
This guy is wearing leather armor. He's got like a mace, but he's cranking a crossbow.
He's cranking it.
Yeah, crank that crossbow.
He's just cranking it.
Crank that crossbow.
It would be 12 damage. He doesn't have the Koenig's stock isn't like a flame at this point, and it would be 12 non-lethal.
All right, you wallop upside the head. And it looks like you did some pretty good damage, but he is still kind of standing. He kind of steps back and he's like, he kind of lets go of the crossbow and he starts reaching for his mace instead.
Okay, one more hit.
Go for it.
Again, non-lethal, 13 to hit.
Yeah, those terrible rolls, but it's fine. Yes, that hits.
For 10 more damage.
Okay. This guy is actually still standing. This guy seems kind of sturdy, kind of tough. Yeah, you've definitely. I mean, he is like bleeding now, just from the concussive force of your sword hitting him upside the head. And he's kind of grabbing his shoulder from the second blow, but he's reaching for his mace, so he will try to swing back at you on his turn. But let's give Pine and Nari and Roos a turn as well.
Pine will say,
Go ahead, Nari. I want to see that new axe in action.
Oh, hell yeah. Nari will take out her new axe and very, she doesn't want to hurt this guy. Clearly he's got stuff going on. But she's going to, oh my Jesus. She's going to hit him for a nat 20.
Well.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfect.
Nari nat 20. Whew.
But nicely, just to knock him out.
Gonna hit him with a nat 20, but nicely.
As one does. And that is 16 damage.
Okay, yeah, as he's pulling out his mace, focusing on Richter, you just kind of step around Richter and just wallop him right upside the head, and he falls like a sack of potatoes. You can see he's breathing raggedly, but it doesn't look like he's gonna die. He is definitely knocked out.
I love this new axe.
I gotta say, that wasn't 16 damage.
Oh no, it definitely wasn't. It was 28.
28 damage, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it was nice damage. It was soft. It was sweet.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you've got 2 attacks left, and you still got 5 feet of movement. There's this other guy here holding a short sword out at you. He's just saying, "We just want to go. We just want to go." And he says, "We'll put it all back. We'll put it all back."
And Nari will kind of lower her axe a little bit and be like, "We're not here to hurt you guys. I just don't like being shot at."
As the blood from that dude is dripping down her blade.
I hit him with the flat side. It's just bruised and a little cracked. It's fine. Can we all sit down and maybe have some tea?
This guy, he throws down his short sword and he kind of puts his hands up and he says, just don't hurt me. And he's kind of looking around you at his compatriot to make sure he's okay. Just make sure he's still breathing. He's like, listen, we came out here for some easy pickings, but it's not worth it anymore. Here, and he kind of starts reaching into his pocket.
For an easy buck, right?
Yeah, he starts reaching into his pocket. He pulls out like a little sack and he throws it on the ground in front of you. He's like, here, this is what I got here. It's not worth it. If you let me go, you can even have the sword.
Before you go, why isn't it worth it? What have you seen?
I think it's graboids, right? Is it graboids?
I don't know what a graboid is, but if it's a creature that pops up out of the earth and attacks you, then yes, it's graboids.
Oh! Where's Kevin Bacon when you need him?
I was going to say, I mean, Kevin Bacon, sure, but Michael Gross. Give me Michael Gross.
He was the crazy guy with all the ammunition?
Yes.
Fantastic.
The star of all the sequels.
As you guys are quoting obscure 80s movies, he's moving towards the door. Very, very slowly.
I think Nari will step towards him and be like, hey, bud. Are you gonna leave your buddy in this state? Let's all take a chill pill.
He was an acquaintance of convenience.
Well, now we all are, so let's take a seat.
Yeah, you can see that all the furniture in here has been knocked over. A lot of it is actually like broken from the shaking and everything. You see that there's actually stones falling out of the fireplace. That's how violent the earthquakes have been here in this area.
Are there any earthquakes like in this farm, or do we feel like this is the right place?
The farm that you were kind of told about is still up over the hill.
Gotcha.
What can you tell me about the farm that's up above the hill? Have you gone there? Do you know what it's like that direction?
He says, yeah, it's death. The farm up there it's untouched, it's pristine, but nobody's there. And then we were approaching it, and some of my he kind of looks over at the guy who's knocked out. He says, some of my allies, some of my friends, they went in to check it out, and they didn't come back out. It's eerie up there. It's like all this destruction. He kind of looks around the house that you guys are in. He's like, all this destruction here, and there it's pristine. It's untouched.
Have you seen any people around there? People coming or going?
Up until a couple of days ago, yeah, there was a family there. They were still working the farm, and they're not there anymore. So we figured we could go in. Maybe they had taken off to town for the market or something, and we're gonna go in and see what we could grab while they were gone. But like I said, some of my friends went in and they didn't come back out.
Understood. Allow me to make one thing very clear. We, as my companion said, we have no desire to hurt or kill anyone this day, unless we have to. Now, whether this man is a friend of yours or not, I don't care, but you are to take him and vacate the premises immediately. You can even take your short sword with you for all I care, that's fine, but leave any gold or any valuables or anything at all that you've taken from this property and leave it here.
Spread the word. This place is off limits to you and your kind.
Yeah, yes, sir. And he points to that little bag that he had touched. He's like, that's all the gold we found, the silver, I guess. And he kind of looked back at the guy who's knocked out. He's like, do I have to take him?
Yes.
Piggyback. You gotta take him piggyback.
And you better take good care of him. I don't know if you realize this, but my axe has magical qualities, and if he dies, you will too.
Make a deception check.
16.
Not bad.
Richter returns with his mouth open and he's like, will it really do that? Wow, that's amazing.
It's pretty cool, huh? I love this baby.
Maybe it's time I put down the sword and picked up the axe.
This guy starts like just kind of slapping the cheeks a little bit, trying to wake this guy up, but the guy is just kind of like rolling his head back and forth. And then he decides, he's like, hey, there's a wheelbarrow outside. I'll get him in the wheelbarrow and then we'll be gone.
Very well.
Nari will also hand them just a little potion that she got from Gerard, because, I don't know, I feel kind of bad. I really didn't mean to go so ham on him, yeah.
Oh, a healing potion?
No.
Hey, no, it's okay.
I'll just put 5 points of healing into him from Commander's morale.
The guy wakes up. And he's like, what? And this guy's like, we gotta go now.
Hey, guys, listen, I know times are tough here, and like, for example, Kalinium, they kind of hate the poor. Times are changing. There are people who are going to make a difference there, working now.
What do I say?
Remember the name Temrid Jr.
No, I'm not going to give his name. Jeez.
I'm just kidding.
You'll find him in Moraville.
He lives at...
His social security number.
He's my son. You know, his first pet's name was... You know his mother's maiden name?
The school he went to in 6th grade.
Anyway, no, the point is, things are about to change in Kalinium for the better, for those less fortunate financially. There will be opportunities there for honest work.
And for robbing people who do honest work. Yeah, all right. They high-five each other.
High-five and run away.
We're going to be rich as they run away. They listen to your words, and then they kind of help each other. The guy who didn't get knocked out kind of helps the guy who did get knocked out as they leave the farm, following the path, heading back the way that you guys had come. And they leave you alone here in the farm.
I picture them like, remember on Scott Pilgrim versus the World when the vegan police are leaving and they're like, yeah!
Yes.
I love that part.
That's how I'm picturing them running away.
You mean Lorenzo Lamas was one of the vegan police? I'm pretty sure. The renegade himself.
Oh, man.
All right. Okay. All right. Here you guys are in the Blanchard farm, in their little farmhouse that's been quite destroyed. I need everyone to make dexterity saves.
Finally, I rolled the nat 20. I got a 28 on my dex save. And we're close enough.
Ayo, Nari rolled a 1 for a 2.
Oh, no.
Well, you get +4, so it's a 6.
Richter got a 13. I'm not sure if that would save, but I might use my ring to ensure I save.
You get a +4. We're close enough. You got to put another.
Richter, you saved. Yeah, Richter, you saved. Nari's the only one who did not save. And Nari, as you're standing there, you're still kind of in the house. Suddenly an earthquake starts, and it's definitely more violent than you were feeling even on the road earlier today. And one of those stones from the fireplace, it falls out and it clocks you upside the head for 1 damage.
Ouch! Heck!
Yes. You also
Quick,
fall
stone's
down.
endurance.
You also fall down. You get knocked prone, but yeah, the 1 damage was not as. Yeah. Anyway. All right. And then the earth stops shaking after about 45, 50 seconds. It seems a lot longer, but just because it's so violent. But that's about how long it was actually shaking.
As soon as the earth starts to shake, though, I would get away from the house because it could come down. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Get under the doorway. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, or just get out of the building altogether.
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
All right. You guys are here at the Blanchard farm. What are you guys going to do?
Well, then let's keep going. I mean, we could take a peek in the other building, but the roof caved in. I don't know
There's probably not a different band of bandits waiting in that one. Didn't know about the first band of bandits.
Roos will take a peek in it as he, starts riding up over the hill. Not like a full investigation, but just like a glance.
You see that it was like a barn. It looks like they probably kept a lot of hay in here for their animals. They kept some chickens and things, a little chicken coop. But the roof has caved in, and actually underneath some of the fallen debris, you actually see like kind of the bones, the dead carcass of some kind of a draft animal of some kind. Either it's like an ox or a horse. You can't tell, but something when the roof caved in, it definitely killed at least one animal in here.
You can't tell the difference between an ox and a horse? Like,
This is Roos we're talking about.
Okay, that's fair.
He can't figure out how to work an elevator. I'm saying no, all you can see like is the back leg. That's how I envisioned it anyway.
And Roos is like, judging by the back leg, it's either a horse, an ox, or I think it's probably a camel.
Yes, it could be a camel.
It could be a peekaboo, though.
Don't worry, Feathers. I won't let a building fall on you.
Bork. So what are you guys going to do?
To the Millet farm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be on our way.
You guys leave the Blanchard farm and start going up over the hill towards what you assume is the Millet farm. As you come over the hill, there's a couple more earthquakes as you're traveling. It takes a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours, to get up over this hill and down on the other side. But down on the other side, you can see there's kind of this, like a gully, and at the inside the gully, there's a little pond, and then off to the side, you can see a little farmstead. You can see a small home. You can see there are some fields that are marked out with some fencing. You even see a little pig pen with like a little gross, muddy water and stuff. Why don't you guys all make perception checks as you gaze down here at this farm?
I got another nat 1 for a 5.
You guys are doing great this
Yeah, man. Holy cow.
Nari got a 14 for her perception.
Richter got an 18.
Roos got a 31. Did he find Pigpen's like dirty blanket while
that's Linus.
Aww.
But yeah, sorry.
No, yeah, it was.
Sorry, wrong guy.
So, Nari, with your 14, you can tell this farm is definitely more intact. It looks like there is really no damage here at all. And also, the building itself looks like it's a little bit better made anyway than the other farm. Like maybe the Millets were a little bit wealthier farmers than the Blanchards were. Richter, with your 18, you can see that there's no sign of animals or life here at all. It looks like even though the farm looks to be in like perfect working order, you see no signs of life. You would expect there to be pigs in the pig pen, maybe a cow in the field or something like that. You don't see any of that. No people moving around, nothing. Roos, with your 31, you gaze down at this farm, and I imagine that like Squire kind of hops up on Feathers behind you, and he does the whole like, thumb and finger into circles and puts them over your eyes, and gives you like binocular vision. And as you are gazing down at the farm, you can see that in the field that's kind of closest to you, that's kind of out in front of the house, you see that the field is very well plowed, very smooth, except one part. It seems like there's a little bit of a hill, a little rise in the dirt. You wouldn't have noticed it because the ground is all tilled up and muddy, or not muddy, but all loose dirt. But just looking at it from this perspective, you can see that, right about, close to the eastern side of the field, there is a little hillock, a little rise in the dirt.
Guys, I think they've got a mole problem here.
Oh my god!
I was gonna say the same thing.
Oh man, these poor farmers, they got gophers.
I'll point that out and say, just be on the lookout. There's something underneath the earth here.
Do we want to keep our mounts at a safe distance?
That's probably a good idea. Should we tie them off in this tree over here? And Roos will point to the tree that's kind of east of everybody.
There's no disturbed ground over there?
With your 5 perception, no, you actually, when he says that there's a hill there's like a disturbance there in that field, you think that Roos is like making it up. I'm not making it up on purpose, but you think he's being too paranoid.
Okay, well, if you guys all tie up your mounts, I'll just leave, Crumbles will like surveil them, protect them as needed.
Do we think that we should try to dig up this mound, or do you think it's better left alone?
I don't know much about moles, so I don't know that I'm the right person to ask.
I mean, I noticed that there was not any animals around, which I feel like is very unusual, so my gut is telling me this might not be moles. I know that sounds crazy.
It's probably voles with a V.
Oh, man, I get those mixed up.
I don't think voles do that.
Are there tracks through the grass? Because sometimes they'll do these weird lines through the grass.
There are no tracks through the grass.
Are there, Roos?
I don't see any tracks through the grass. I'm gonna go to the door and start walking towards the house. Let's see if we can find anything inside. Just everybody, be careful on your feet. There's probably something underneath us.
Sword is drawn.
Okay, Roos, you walk up to the door. Don't open the door yet. What's everyone else doing as you are walking towards the door?
Nari's gonna follow Roos right behind, axe in the ready. She's already pretty proud of how it's performed, so she's kind of excited to use it again.
Yeah, Richter is sword drawn as well.
Sorry, Richter said he was sword drawn. I just want to know where he's going.
He's following as well.
Pine is actually going to he's going to be with Crumbles a little bit longer because he's going to go ahead and upon Crumbles' back, he will say,
The frozen blade spells disaster. Frigid retribution stance.
and because Crumbles is my steed, it actually applies to him as well. So now we both have 10 temporary hit points, and if anything hits us, they'll take 10 cold damage. That casts it at level 2.
Roos is also gonna tap Richter on the shoulder and say, the balance of fate is skewed in our favor. Your AC goes up by 1, and we share damage. So you take half, I take half of everything that hits you.
Ooh, you beautiful person.
For 1 hour. I figured the squishies should stick together.
Well, thank you. Wait, squishy? But I do crunches.
All right. Okay, Pine, you are back kind of by the mounts. You're on Crumbles' back as you do your frigid retribution stance. Richter, Nari, and Roos, you have all moved up about, 60, 70 feet towards the door of this house. Roos, you said you were going to open the door. Is that what you wanted to do?
That's what I want to do. Oh, and that +1 is also to your saving throws as well.
Wow. Okay.
So Pine will have dismounted from Crumbles, and he'll be, at this point, he'll be starting to head toward the rest of the group.
At this point, as you, Pine, are getting off of Crumbles, you are no longer sitting on Crumbles. Roos reaches over, opens the door. Roos, what you see a nice kind of dining / family room of this farmhouse. You see a table that has some nice, nice. It has matching, plateware and cups, which is a surprise. It's a sign of some success, some wealth as farmers. You can see that there is food on the table. The food on the table has not begun to rot or anything like that. So it's relatively fresh. You can see there's a stove at the back of the building. You can see that there's a door leading to another room here in the house on the left side, on the west side of this room. Pine, as you are dismounting Crumbles, when the door opens, what you see is rising up out of the earth, including that bump in the field that Roos noticed upon approaching.
I knew we should check that earth.
These large figures come rising up out of the earth. Not so much like the earth falls off them, but literally like the earth forms them as they stand up. They are 10 or 12 feet tall. It looks like they are made out of rock. They have 2 big, huge arms and 2 small little arms. And it looks like you see 3 of them. One stands up in the field. One stands up in the pig pen. One stands up in another field further back.
They look exactly like Graveler.
They do?
Oh, yeah. They totally look like Graveler.
No. Shock. And a 4th figure rises up. This one's smaller. This one is made out of stone, covered in like moss and grass, and it is standing a little further east. Its hands, though, look like they are just these big clubs made out of rock, and he looks strong And I mean, tall, but not nearly as big as these other creatures. And Roos and Richter and Nari, as you turn to see what has just happened, and Pine, as you see these figures rise up out of the dirt and out of the grass, we are going to roll initiative next time.
Ooh.
Better get a Squirtle out here.
Yes, we do need a Squirtle. We could have I can't remember what his name is, but I have a very fancy duck on Violet, Pokemon Violet.
Quaxley.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So fancy.
I'm trying to look up funny pony name, like horse names too, to name my horse, and they're all just horse girl names. And it's terrible, dude.
Oh, all right, you guys. Well, hey, welcome to the Millet Farm. As you see these creatures made out of earth and rock, we are going to stop. And I just want to thank everyone for listening this far into our podcast. And thank you guys for playing tonight. If you guys want more content, for sure, go check out our Patreon. We have bonus episodes. We have character sheets, maps. We have a wiki. We have just
Outtakes. We have outtakes where we swear.
We have outtakes that are pretty funny.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And don't forget to check us out on Discord. The link is in our description. You can go in and chat with us. And don't forget also, we have a shop. You can get your Dodeca drip. And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.